It is Iowa State wrestling head coach Kevin Dresser. And coach, we've got a new season upon us. I know anytime you're at the helm of Iowa State, you are expected to perform. So what is the energy like for you at this stage? Is it excitement? Is it stress as you get ready? What's the feel like for you?
Well, of course, it's excitement. This is what we trained for, to get this opportunity, and we get 16 dates on the NCAA schedule, and then you get a chance at a conference championship, and then hopefully an NCAA championship. So, a lot. We talk about big moments. There's a lot of big moments coming up, and we got guys that have been working since last year now, and so we finally get to lay it on the line in November.
I love it. Well, you said it. I mean, the big moments start right away. You kick off the action November 5th. It's CFFC Match Day. It's on UFC Fight Pass, and it's against Cleveland State. Now, let's talk about the venue first. It's Perry High School. It's the former high school of your star wrestler, David Carr. I got to imagine the environment's going to be pretty crazy there. I mean, a big program like yourself coming back home to David's high school. What are you expecting out of the environment itself there?
Well, we're excited to get to Ohio. It's a great wrestling state, and obviously David's been really special to our program. We got lucky with COVID and got him an extra year, so he's in his 6th year, which there's a lot of those guys out there right now in college wrestling. But I just thought this would be a neat way to recognize him and honor him, and so that's where we're going to start it out at.
I love it. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be on Fight Pass for anybody that can't be in there in the building. Now, Coach, I would ask, I mean, this is just a non-conference matchup in November, and as you said, I mean, you're clearly playing for success in March. So, I mean, how do you approach a duel like this? Is this, a chance to look at some of your younger guys and get them some experience, or do you start trying to get those guys that you know are going to be in postseason contention? Do you try to get them on track right out the gate?
Well, we always talk about, the biggest date, the biggest event, the biggest match of the season is always the next match. And so, my guys hear me say it all the time, but college wrestling isn't a 100-yard dash. It's a marathon. And so you need to try to be the best version of yourself every time you step out there, and it all matters. That match that you wrestle on November 5th in Cleveland, Ohio, or Massillon, Ohio, will have a bearing on the NCAA tournament, your seed, maybe a head-to-head that's important. So it all matters.
It absolutely does. Now, we touched on it. I mean, you're at the helm of one of the most storied programs in college wrestling history. So, I mean, does that bring an expectation level to you that you feel like you've got to live up to every time? Or do you almost have to put that reputation aside as you construct the team and build the team and just, focus on the athletes that you have in front of you?
No, I think I describe it as I knew what I signed up for when I made the move from Virginia Tech to Iowa State. I knew what I signed up for. I know what they're yearning for here. Again, they're yearning to be a top 5 team consistently and to contend for national championships, and that's always been the goal. Sometimes the process doesn't happen as quickly as you'd like, and I can say that honestly. But I like the pressure. I signed up to be in this situation, and as our staff is in this situation, so we really want we want that on our shoulders, and we've got that on our shoulders. So every year we've made strides, maybe not the biggest strides we want to, but our trajectory's always been up, and we need to make a big step this year.
Absolutely. Well, we're honored that you'll be starting that with CFFC Match Day and UFC Fight Pass. Now, let's talk about this meet. All eyes are going to be on David Carr for sure, right? I mean, as a former national champion, I mean, he understands bright lights, he understands pressure, but I'm just curious kind of how you manage his focus in this, right? Like, I imagine this is a big moment for him. He's going to want to show out, but you also can't overthink it, right? You just got to go out there and do what you know how to do. So how do you manage him in this particular scenario?
Well, David's a competitor, and he wants to win, and he wants to win big. He wants to. I always say the great wrestlers are showmen, and he likes to put on a show, and so he's going to do that. I mean, every athlete that ever put wrestling shoes on and stepped out there had a chink. David's chink might be that if anything, he is really a social person, and he likes to spend time with the fans, and he likes to talk about the program, and he likes to talk about Iowa State coming back and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes, I have to do a good job as a head coach just to rein him in every now and then and say, okay, we're gonna chill for a little bit and get ready for this big match. And so you learn your athletes and what you can do the best for them as they get ready to compete. So, and David knows that. He knows that. Hey, sometimes I get caught up in that stuff too much because he's such a large personality, and that's what makes him great. But that also sometimes could get him a little tired before we even start.
Yeah, that's great insight. We'll definitely be paying attention to that. Now, obviously, we're going to be looking at David. You've got some transferring talent into the program. You've got some returning All-Americans. I mean, the squad looks great this year. Who would you say that we need to be keeping an eye on for this November 5th debut?
Well, we've got a couple guys that are dinged up that probably won't be quite ready for that. We've got an All-American that transferred to us from Clarion, Pennsylvania, that's probably about a week away from that. So we probably won't see him on November 5th, Will Feldkamp. We're not quite sure the status of Panero Johnson yet, who did a really good job for us at 149, but we've got some really good depth there. We've got some wrestle-off Thursday night that are going to be interesting. We've got a lot of really close matches that we're going to have in a couple days here. So I can't even honestly tell you the lineup right now, and we'll know a little bit more by Friday morning. But we've got some really young, talented kids. It's going to be a fun team to watch, and I don't even really want to single out one right now because there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, no doubt. You touched on it, man. The squad that you're building. I know, 11th last year. It's a great finish, but I think you feel like that's not enough. It's got to be even better. So as you go into this season, what is success for your squad this year? Is there a goal? Is there, a team finish? Is it individual finishes? Like, what means success for you this year?
That's a good question, and it's a simple answer for me is we need to win a Big 12 championship. It's time for us to win a Big 12 championship, and it's a very competitive league with Missouri and Oklahoma State and Oklahoma and UNI, and I'm probably forgetting a few, but it's a very competitive league. And then, we need to get in the top five. We need to be a top five team this year. So those are all lofty goals, but those are goals that we need to strive for.
I love it. Well, it's a great place to start the journey. We're honored again that we get to watch it. I guess I just want to ask you, Coach. I mean, look, there's going to be a little bit of a crossover audience here, right? So, how would you address, maybe UFC Fight Pass subscribers that haven't seen college wrestling before, but that love combat sports? Like, what do you think makes it such a great sport, and why should people watch it that maybe haven't watched it before?
Well, obviously, UFC is so similar to wrestling in terms of there's nothing pure really than one-on-one, and you're not passing the ball and you're not calling the timeout, and there's nowhere to hide out there. And so it's so similar to UFC in that respect, that it's just I think and the guys that are doing really well in UFC have such a great a wrestling background, most of them, the ones that are successful. And I think they realize that if they don't, they're probably in trouble. So, the wrestlers got to kind of learn the jujitsu and some of the boxing, but they come in with such great wrestling backgrounds that, they've got their challenges as well. But for people that like to watch UFC, they'll really enjoy college wrestling.
I agree, man. I just think if you're seeing it for the first time, as soon as you see those athletes out there on the mat, you will recognize the skill, the talent, and the things if you watch combat sports at all before. So, Coach, appreciate the time. Listen, I know you're a busy man. You got a lot of things going on, so thanks for fitting us in the schedule. We look forward to seeing you in Ohio on November 5th on UFC Fight Pass.
No, we look forward to it. Thanks. We're excited to work with you guys.